Now, Boxing Day sales are going to look different this year, with many shops not even opening. So how is this going to affect retail at the end of a difficult year? Also, new restrictions are hitting many areas today, so many more shops are having to close. Well, let's talk to the retail analyst, Kate Hardcastle. Good to see you, Kate. I mean, this is a very gloomy end to a gloomy year, it would seem.
Hi, Stephen. Happy Boxing Day. Yes, it has been, and it's horrible as for a lot of those traditional in-store retail offers. But it's been a very different story online. We've seen significant growth online, and we've probably seen what we would have imagined to have been maybe 5 years worth of change in just a matter of months as we've gone through these various lockdowns and people have steered away from going in traditional stores. I think there's been little bits of hope every time we've been able to see those non-essential stores reopen, because perhaps we've seen queues outside and thought things were back to normal. But a lot of that has been born out of the safe distancing that have been put in place by stores to try and limit the capacity there. It's certainly going to be a shift where we're not going to see a movement back from this. It's going to be an evolvement. And I think certainly industries like fashion have been the hardest hit, where we're just not buying things in the same quantities because we've just not been living our lives in the same way.
I mean, we've heard for years about the demise of the high street and what can be done to rejuvenate the high street. I mean, is this almost another nail in the coffin?
You're absolutely right. This has been a decline for years. It's been a slower decline. And I think there were some indication from some retailers that things could go back to normal, but that's not what we've heard from consumers. The consumers have made it very clear. They feel they've got more information than ever before about how to buy, thanks to their smartphones. They feel that they are waiting for a better deal, whether that's better value or better value for money. And they feel that they're buying what they need to, coupled with trying to balance out their expenditure on things like experiences. They want to live life and they want to chronologically put that onto their social media. So we've got to understand all of those changes in buying habits are going to hit our high streets. And if we hang our high streets hat just purely on retail, that's just not going to work. We've got to have a balance of place that's bringing back communities together, the balance of people being able to work, live, play, and shop. And I think that we've just got far too much traditional storefront retail, bricks and mortar, in too much of a kind of carbon copy way. It's almost like this homogenized high street up and down the UK. We need more vibrancy. In that, we need a blend of more independent brands as well as the bigger stores. And I think we're just going to have to all accept, as we move and have moved this year more online, we're going to see a reflection of that into our high street. And we have to hope for a more engaging outcome where we as consumers can go and feel that we've got a place to be rather than just a place to shop.
It's interesting, when you look at the market economy and how it works. I mean, this is really the market economy down to circumstance, forcing through rapid change now.
It really is. We know from history that pandemics can create certainly a huge change in business and huge change in mindset. And I think we're going to see a lot of creativity out of this. You might start seeing retailers who share spaces more often. So you might see complementary retailers working together. It's hard to sometimes look when things look gloomy to look down a few years down the line and say, actually, there are better things coming. It's going to evolve around us as consumers. And I can see that future. I can see those green shoots now. We've had a year where we've talked more about shopping locally, shopping responsibly. That's a good thing. But as you can see from the images you're seeing right now, it's hard to feel that way when all we can see are these shop fronts closed and a lot of hurt from an industry that suffered, particularly with the bricks and mortar stores, nearly 250,000 job losses and job cuts this year that's anticipated. So I think what we've got to hope for is that the governments, local authorities boost the interim with spend, opportunity, and the right people in the right places are enabled to actually create something that isn't just retail reborn, but is actually retail rejuvenated as part of places to be. And we understand that online is part of that.
I mean, so it would seem then from what you're saying, because it is very easy to be all doom and gloom with this, and understandably so, especially if you've been directly affected in terms of your job or your business. But it would seem, looking forward, that it's going to be the big businesses, the small businesses, the entrepreneurs who see this as an opportunity who are going to do well here.
I think it is going to be an entrepreneurial, maverick type attitude that gets people through. I think we've certainly seen that from the people who stuck with online. Perhaps people think that online retail is as simple as sticking a website on a page and selling from that. It's going to be so much more sophisticated. We know that delivery companies have had 4 times, 10 times the load some days on the run up to Christmas. We know that the change from us as consumers is very much about us being savvier and talking to customers in a different way. It's not this idea of buy it in as cheaply as possible, stack it high, and sell it on for a profit. It's much more engaging now as retail. I absolutely enjoy that. And I think a lot of this new breed of retailers do too. We'll always have the value merchants, we'll always have that a trading type mentality as part of retail. That's part of the fun. But Boxing Day sales this year are going to be very, very different. And I think that's going to be a change too. We can't just expect the retail calendar to work on selling at full price or selling at discount. It's just got to be more than that, Stephen. And I think good things will come in the long term.
Kate, always a pleasure.
Indeed,
Thanks very
thank you.
much indeed.